Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to do a quick update about where my side project Voxicle has got to and what I've been up to in the last couple of months whilst building this. So some of you may have been aware, if you follow my channel, I was building a little multiplayer game called Banter Bus. Kind of stopped development on that at the end of January. It's still a bit broken. I need to go back to it and fix some stuff, but I decided I'm going to have a go at this kind of micro SaaS, building a small side project where I can actually try and potentially make some money from. We'll see about that. It's not released yet, but at least have a crack at it. And if this one doesn't work out, maybe I could do another app or something, and hopefully I can end up reusing lots of the code, things like authentication, authorization, subscriptions, solving those problems, row level security in Postgres for multi-tenant, all these things. And I might do more videos about them, more informative videos, which are more the other style of videos you've seen on my channel versus like this, which is going to be more of an update video showing off how far Voxicle has come. So Voxicle, in terms of tech stack, is built with Go, Postgres, as I just mentioned, and then for front end, using HTMX, like Banter Bus, with Tailwind CSS. And this time I'm using Daisy UI, which I guess you can think of a bit like Bootstrap, but a bit different. And it's basically just provides us with a bunch of components. So we can just do something like this, but makes it really easy to extend using Tailwind. So it seems to fit in quite well. And again, I'm not a front-end developer, so this really helps me out and has helped speed up development. And I'm using the Cupcake theme, I think. I just tweaked it slightly. So it's using some of the older colors versus this kind of black color you see. It's using that more purple color. But other than that, I'm using a lot of the components from here. And there's a hint of Alpine.js as well on the front end for some of the interactivity where I don't necessarily want to make a HTTP request. Then the HTML is being rendered on the server, as you might expect with HTMX. And I'm using the Temple templating library in Go to do that, which I've done another video about. And I'll do a more in-depth introduction to Temple, a more formal version than the kind of dev vlog I did. But yeah, that's roughly what the app is built with. It's relatively straightforward. So the app itself is to try and to make it easier for teams to collect feedback and to get feedback from your customers. And so what it will have a section where you can log in and other people from your organization will be able to log in. And then it'll have a public facing pages that people can then add feedback and upvote. And in future, you'll be able to restrict that to just your customers. So they'll be able to authenticate and only your customers can add feedback and they can upvote, or you can just leave it public and people can add features. It might be like, hey, if I'm going to end up using it for Voxicle, for dog fooding, so people can tell me what kind of features they want. And it might be, hey, add a dark mode, for example. And then, if that has 20 upvotes versus any other feature, probably shows that's something customers want, right? So really quickly, we've got a fairly standard landing page. At the moment, the deployed version just allows you to join a waitlist. But this is a version running locally. So you will be able to log in and try out the app. Right, and then I have a bunch of showing off some of the features I want to build. Most of these have not been built yet, but it's to show off what it will have. And then it has some of the pricing. I haven't put loads of thought into the pricing yet. And that's a bit wrong. It should be the other way around. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, as you might expect, this might change as I get closer to actually releasing it. And then there's a few other legal pages and such that you need. But yeah, that's fairly standard, I think, landing page. Nothing too crazy there. None of the tools I'm going to show you I'm sponsored by. It's just tools I've found and I've used, and they seem to be working pretty well. So for my waitlist, I'm using Get Waitlist. So I guess if we log in, I've got two waitlists. I guess Voxicle itself has some people that have signed up. This is the live version. And then for the testing one, we haven't got any signups because I haven't really had to test that bit. But yeah, that's fairly straightforward. You can get people's emails and then, do with them. When you release your app, you can actually email them. Then you can sign up a login. Here I'm using a tool called Wristband. They were a smaller identity provider. Think of it like an Auth0 or a Clerk, I think, is another one. And I've integrated with them. They're a pretty small company. I found them pretty responsive. I guess, they're a bit smaller, so perhaps they don't have as many customers at the moment. But anytime I've sent a message asking questions, I've got a reply within a couple of days. So yeah, they're pretty good and giving advice and stuff like that. So no problems with them. Their pricing looked pretty good. They were set up for multi-tenant B2B apps, which is, this is going to be. I'm predominantly aiming this towards businesses, not customers. So we can come in and enter the app name, Voxicle. So we know what organization we're going to go for. This flow might need some tweaking, but then I can go to Seed Margid, and then I will get an email, which will have a magic link login, and I can click that login. And we now logged in. And so this is kind of the private view. So this view will only be visible to users that are logged in. So users that belong to the organization. And here you can create some feedback, add dark mode to make it easier to view the page at night. Dash low light conditions. So, fairly standard form. Just hit submit feedback. If the feedback is submitted quick enough, you don't see a loading icon. If it takes a bit longer, you see a loading icon. At the moment, I've also done, you upvote the feedback automatically if you create it, because presumably you want it to be actioned because you created it. And if you're logged in, you get double weighting. So it counts as 2 votes at the moment, but again, that might change. So that's fairly straightforward, and you can downvote it and then upvote it. There's probably a few little quirks here that we need to change, and you've got some filters at the top to filter it, and some other ways you can sort it. And then there's an edit button and a delete button. Perhaps the edit button needs to be so you click the entire card and then it pops up that modal to edit versus needing to press this, and then delete button, the usual confirm to delete if you want. And then need to build up some of the stuff on the side. If we go to take a look at the public view, and probably should have a link to take you here, but you can see it's the subdomain, which is the organization you would have created, public dashboard, and you can kind of have a view. And this is a view that your customers will be able to see and come and vote for people who are using your app. And you can come and upvote here, and you have similar filters and search, and there'll be a way to upload your own logo here and a few other pages. Roadmap, which will be more like a Jira style, linear, that kind of what you're working on, what's the progress, etc., etc. People will be able to track what features you're actually building out. And very similarly, they can submit, but this time they can also add their email if they want, and then they'll be notified about differences when you start working on features or when a feature's been implemented and stuff like that. So that's roughly what we've built out. We also built out some of the subscription stuff. So in theory, you can go and subscribe, but none of that's really enabled yet. This is all just, again, working locally. And I've spent, I think, off and on 3 months on it, which is not, which is more time than I wanted to, in terms of the total elapsed time versus I wanted to have something working by now. But there's been a few things at work where I've ended up swapping jobs, and then that took time away where I was then focused on interviewing. And then obviously, when I came back, the motivation wasn't quite there because I spent so much time focused on interviewing, and then I was building up the app, and now I'm starting to enjoy building out again. So hopefully we can build up some momentum and at least release some version where we can get some customers and get some feedback rather than trying to build out too much. So it mostly just needs polishing now, I think, some more testing, particularly around some of the security side, where I was talking about row level security, where, you know, making sure only users see feedback for the organization, and just testing that, making sure it's a bit more robust, because, you know, you don't want to break trust with your customer by showing them feedback or showing your feedback to other people. There's also going to be a concept of private and public feedback. And one of the other features I'm keen to build out is fetching feedback from things like Trustpilot, Reddit, iOS reviews, the Play Store reviews and stuff like that as well. So it kind of automatically pulls in feedback and tries to deduplicate it for you, because I'm sure you'll often see bits of feedback that'll be duplicated. But alongside that, you'll also be able to mark different bits of feedback as public and private. Maybe you don't want to know customers you're working on this security vulnerability until you've fixed it, and stuff like that. So that was basically a quick dive into what I've done with Voxicle so far over the last couple of months, where we've got to, and some of the stuff we're looking to do next. Try and do these a bit more frequently and show off more features. I think it'd be cool just to have the project a bit more documented, and so I can come back and, you know, almost see myself how I'm doing it. I'm also posting regularly on a couple of platforms like Blue Sky, you know, the whole hashtag build in public, and trying to show my progress, you know, slow, steady, but I've been posting for, I think 90 days now, pretty continuously. So yeah, it's, you know, it's going.